Hey guys! So I wanted to do a video on a journal flip through, my first one of 2018. It took from February until June, probably the longest I've ever taken on a journal due to a variety of factors, but that's unimportant. I figured for this journal flip through I would kind of talk a little bit about the inspiration behind some of the pages, show a few close-ups instead of just doing a quick flip through, which you can find on my Instagram as well. So if you do want to see it really quick, you can see it there as well. So this page here, it was using gouache paint. I've been looking for kind of an alternative between watercolor and acrylic for my journals, and gouache has been really perfect for that. I really enjoyed working with it. And this was just a tester page to see how it worked. And I used like a Michaels brand paint, and it was absolutely awful. It leaves this sort of chalky residue, and then it rubs off onto the opposite page. So I invested in a Winsor & Newton set and really loved that a lot better. So just a heads up. I think the Michaels brand was called Reeves or something like that. And yeah, it was not really great. So yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of my favorite pages. This one here was another tester page. I got a Sakura Watercolor set, and I just wanted to do a sort of mimic of this page here, or this photograph rather. And I learned that the Sakura Koi palette is a lot less translucent than other watercolor palettes I've worked with before, but that has its benefits as well, so you know. This page here is one of my favorites from this journal, and it's using ballpoint pen, and the background is just yellow ink, I think yellow acrylic ink. And it took a couple hours, about 6 hours, to complete the portrait. And it was just really fun, really relaxing. I forgot how much I enjoyed using ballpoint pen in my journals. I definitely want to try it again because it's just really nice and relaxing to just work on section by section. So, also the contrast of the blue and yellow, really love that. This page here, I got a bunch of Daniel Smith watercolors for my birthday and decided to test them out with this page that was inspired by a girl with a journal on Instagram. She does these sort of drip pages quite frequently, and I like how they turned out. They look really cool. And I learned that Daniel Smith watercolors are really good quality. I really enjoy them. I have a lot more since then. And this page here was, I decided to try watercolor pencil crayons, and I was going to add the water on later, and I ended up not doing that. I kind of just liked the way it looked like this. I really liked the blending and the color combinations. And it also matched the cover of Nikita Gill, of the cover of her poetry book. So it looked really cool. Here's some more gouache paint. It's very interesting to work with. It's very nice and dense and opaque. I was definitely inspired by it quite a bit in this book. There's quite a few pages using it. This page here took so long. This is all using one pen. The entire background, like the hatch marks, are all using one pen. And fun fact, those are Dylan O'Brien's hands. Someone posted a picture of him, and he was just like at a comic convention, and he had his hands in his lap, and I wanted to just practice drawing hands. Did that, and then started this sort of little hatch mark pattern, and then realized, well, how am I going to finish this? So I just kept going. Yeah, it took 8 hours to complete. But it was totally worth it. I love that page. And this one here is alcohol ink on YUPO paper. Sorry about the glare. I really love this technique. And I did post a video on how I create these a little while back, so if you do want to check that out or haven't seen it yet. This page got destroyed. It happens. I like this one because you can't really tell from a distance, but I circled a couple of the words. This is from a vintage dictionary I got from the thrift store, and I just circled a couple of the words that I liked. There's me. Disaster. and the yellow, or sorry, the red is just more gouache paint. And as you can see, it does rub off quite a bit. This is the cheaper brand that I was using when I first started this journal. So it's a drawing of Kesha, but I changed her hair color to purple to match the sort of galaxy back there. This is using Vellum, or I think like semi-transparent paper I got from somewhere, I don't remember where. And lots of people ask me, how do I add these into my journals? And I can actually show you. So right here, it's very hard to see, but see that line right here? So basically what I do is I just add a couple extra centimeters along the end of the page here, glue it down along the inside of the mark, and then fold it back. And that's how I add them in. Nice and easy. And you can't really tell because of the translucency of the paper. So here's another page that got destroyed. It happens. This was using, I created the stencil for this rose for the video on journal backgrounds a while back, and I didn't get a chance to use it, but I used it for this page here. It was really fun to work with. I love stencils. I don't know why I don't use them more often. And the quote is actually from Erin Brockovich, because that's what I was watching at the time. This page here, I never finished, and I never will. I've made my peace with that. There's just some pages you just bypass. I don't know what to do with it, and I'm not bothered enough to actually complete it. Here's another page that took a really long time. I can actually tell you, it took the entire first season of The Alienist to finish it. Mainly because it takes forever for watercolor to dry, and the technique I was using was not an easy one. And you can really tell that the Moleskine Art Plus water or paper is not great. Like you can see just the fuzzy outline of the lines. Like usually they'd be very crisp on watercolor paper. So yeah, the Moleskine Art Plus is not great for watercolors. But, and I definitely underestimated how long it would take to create this page. I was like, oh, it'll be like 1 or 2 hours. And of course, you know, like 10 hours later, still working on it. But I really love it. It's like one of my favorite pages. And I do rainbow a lot, as you can see. That was unintentional. I did not do that on purpose. This was the tape from the alcohol ink and YUPO paper. It just looked really cool, so I just added it into my journal. And then I also added that quote and then regretted it later, because I don't actually like it, but you know, over it. Here's another page that's one of my absolute favorites. As you can tell, I really like portraits on a yellow background, apparently. And I didn't know, but it was Alicia Keys I was drawing. And you can see only in the light the edge of the hair. You can't really see when it's straight on. I painted the background first, and then I figured I could just add in the ends of her hair with the black pen that I was using. And I discovered that basically everything would rub off of this yellow paint, including like Sharpies, everything. It would just completely come off. And the only way I could get it to stay was with India ink in a quill pen. So it took me forever to do the outline of her hair with a quill. It was just so time consuming, but it looks really cool, and it was one of my absolute favorite pages. This was the video on journal backgrounds that I did, the painting and then putting tissue paper on top. This is how that page turned out. And I matched the portrait of this guy to the color scheme I was kind of going for, this sort of purple, blue, pink. This cactus background is actually a napkin. It looked really cool, so I figured why not add it into my journal. And I constantly add like things that are considered like trash or junk in it, so it turned out really cool and I really like it. So just to prove that basically anything can go in here. And this is the last page. I was testing out watercolor pencil crayons, and I just wanted to see how well they blend and how they look when I add the water in. So I did this sort of circle and then painted the background black and added the little arches, and it looked like a snake. So I'm gonna butcher the name. It's Ouroboros, the snake that eats itself. So yeah, that's the end of my journal. If you do want to see a faster flip through, go to my Instagram. I will post one there. And let me know in the comments if you have a favorite page, because I love to hear. And thanks so much for watching, and have a good day, guys.